Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Hope yours is going well. We've got another Seahawks video to get to today, but first we just have 2,220 subscribers to the channel. I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers, and as always, special tip of the cap goes to the channel members, especially elite channel members HaWKxXA, Brandon Mikel, Rip, Scott Todd, Hasher for MVP, VGK Tigers, Salacious Crumb, and John Harper. All right. It is Tuesday, so you guys know what time it is. It's time to delve into the Seahawks' situational offensive play calling in the 2020 season. And now that the regular season is complete, we can finally make our final evaluation of the Seahawks in this regard. How was our situational play calling? Now, I, of course, call this segment of the show Let Russ Cook, but that phrasing has become a little tired in recent weeks, I think. And a lot of people are tired of hearing that phrase because, well, Wilson trademarked it, and it's become associated with something kind of negative with regard to him as a player. It's become more associated with the cringy aspects of Russell Wilson rather than his actual playing ability on the field. So, if you don't like that, think of it this way. The real question is, are we utilizing our players in a way that makes sense based on how we paid them? Russell Wilson is making $35 million a year. We have a second-round pick starting at receiver, and our other starting wide receiver is somebody who's making 8 figures a year almost. We've invested money and draft capital and some free agency dollars into offensive linemen that are good at pass blocking. That's one of the reasons why we moved on from Jermaine Ifedi to Brandon Shell. That's one of the reasons why we jumped to Ethan Posick over Justin Britt. So the question is, are we making good use of that money that we spent? Because there's not a whole lot of money wrapped up into the running back position, and we've definitely scaled back on our offensive line's run blocking capabilities. So if you don't like the phrase, let Russ cook, because you're a little tired of it, then, hey, join the club. But really the question is, how are we utilizing our players, and how does that correspond to how we've decided to make investments into certain positions? So let's pull up the chart, and this will be the final chart for the year. And we can compare ourselves to other teams in the league. We can compare ourselves to what we did in previous seasons. And we can see, are we making progress? Are we starting to utilize our players and personnel in a way that makes sense for this particular roster of players? You don't give Russell Wilson $140 million and then be the most run-happy team in the league. You don't give that money to Tyler Lockett. You don't spend the draft capital on DK Metcalf. You don't give Greg Olsen $7 million. You don't swap out Ifedi for Shell without making sure that you're going to give those guys full opportunity to contribute to your team. So, this episode's going to be a little longer than the other Let Russ Cook episodes because it's the final one of the year, and we want to make some final calls on how we did this year as a team. Because before we get into the percentages here, and you can already tell it's going to be mostly positive, one thing to keep in mind is that the Seahawks set a franchise record this year for points, and they did it without the benefit of a single defensive or special teams touchdown. So on some level, in some areas, what we did this year with our offense worked very well. Now, was it perfect? No. We had games where we couldn't stop turning the ball over. We had games where the offense just didn't show up. We had games where the offense took 3 quarters to show up. So we saw some of the stuff that annoyed us the last 2 years again, but 459 points, a franchise record, it doesn't lie. And especially when you can't lean on your defense or special teams to be scoring any of those points. So, yeah, something really worked with the offense this year. So, as I look at these numbers, I can't help but feel like it was the cut down in the Seahawks' run percentages almost across the board that helped us get here. So, with that in mind, let's jump in. Run percentage overall. We haven't moved much the last few weeks. We are at about 40%. I think slightly above 40%. It might be 40.3 or something like that. This is a long way away from 2 years ago when we were the most run-happy team in football. 55.6% of our plays were run plays. Now, we are all the way down to 40, and that's not even in the top half of the league. We are 19th. And again, I don't want to be the most pass-happy team in the league. I don't think our personnel, I don't think our players, I don't think anything about this team suggests that we need to just completely abandon the run at all times, but 19th strikes me as a pretty happy medium. So in this area, overall, I would say we passed with flying colors. Now, that being said, some of this was forced upon us because our running backs got injured and we basically had nobody back there for at least a couple games this year, and that led to some of the passing plays. Sure, absolutely. But even if you were to factor that in, this is still a big improvement from where we were last year and especially 2 years ago. All right, first down run percentage. We have made more big strides here. We were first in the league in run percentage on first down 2 years ago, 10th last year. This year, 21st. We were one of the more pass-happy teams in the league on first down. And we still ran the ball almost half the time on first down, so we were not imbalanced whatsoever. This strikes me as a very happy place to be, and I think that if the offense were able to live here going forward, we would all be pretty happy about that. If they could just stay around 48, 49, 47 maybe, we would all be pretty happy about our offensive situational play calling. So this is a huge step in the right direction for me. I really like where this offense is right now in terms of their run versus pass play calling. Now, let me clarify one thing. That doesn't mean the specific play calls are good. And depending on what happens the next few weeks, we may have to make a change this offseason to address that, because you can certainly argue that this specific play calling is not good right now. But we'll worry about that in a couple of weeks. All right, first down and long. The Seahawks did wonderful work here, and I mean that on two different levels. One, we almost never ran the ball on first and long. We only did it twice all season, and both of them were first and very longs, actually, which we'll get to in a second. But we only ran the ball twice all season on first and long. 2 of 14, which put us right near the bottom of the league, 25th. Now, the other good thing here is that we barely had any first and longs. We only had 14. Now, last year we had almost double that, and the year before we had close to double that. So we have cut down tremendously on pre-snap penalties, and that has reduced the number of first and longs that we face, which means you're putting your offense in a position to succeed rather than fail. This is a big part of the reason why we probably broke the franchise record for points. This is a big part of the reason why we had so many touchdown drives this year. Big reason why Wilson was able to throw 40 touchdowns. We weren't putting the offense in first and long, hardly ever. So if there's one thing I really want to praise this offense for this year, it's cutting down on those pre-snap penalties that would put us in first and long. Now, first and very long, 40%, which was 11th in the league, which it's not great, but I do want to say 5 first and very longs all season is great. Last year we had 14. The year before we had about the same. So only 5 first and very longs all season. That's pretty strong. That's going to help you win a lot of games. And again, if you want to know why this team was able to break the all-time franchise points record despite not even having that many yards on offense, it's probably that. All right, now we're moving on to second down run percentage. As you can see, in previous years, we were right near the top of the league. Second in the NFL 2 years ago, 6th in the NFL the year after. This year, we cut way back on our second down runs. 39%, which put us at 20th in the league, just below league average. And again, I do want to say, Russell Wilson is a scrambling quarterback, even though there were times this year when he didn't really look like it. He did run for 500 yards this season, and he had a lot of successful, fruitful, worthy runs as a quarterback. So that's going to boost the percentage a little bit just by itself, because he is going to take off and run on some second downs. So with that in mind, 39% strikes me as completely reasonable for this offense, and 20th in the league strikes me as a pretty good place to be given the way we've divvied up our salary cap. So another huge step in the right direction for this offense. I love it, I love it, I love it. All right, second down and medium, 5 to 9 yards. Again, you look at 2018, third in the league in second down and medium running percentage. Last year, 9th, 43%. This year, all the way down to 36%. Big step down. We only ran the ball on an average of 3 second and mediums per game. 3 second and mediums per game out of almost 9 total. So 18th in the league. Strikes me as solid. The percentage actually went way down in this last 49ers game because I think it was mostly because we weren't having a lot of success running the ball, so we felt like we couldn't waste the down on second and medium a lot. So it went down a lot in this final game and has gotten us just below league average. So, hey, big step in the right direction for the way this team is approaching play calling. All right, now we move on to second and long. Second down and 10 or more to go. We were 5th 2 years ago. We were 7th last year. And this year we were all the way down to 17th, right near league average. Now, you guys know that I hate running the ball on second and long. It's one of my least favorite things in the NFL. It's one of the biggest give-up plays that doesn't necessarily show up in the stats as a direct give-up play that I think you can run. So I would prefer this number be down below 10% or 5% or maybe even 0. However, it is clear that even the smartest teams in the league, even the most cutting-edge offensive teams in the league, like, say, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers, do occasionally run the ball on second and long. So I understand that no team in the league is so far ahead of the curve that they're just completely taking the second and long run out of their playbook. So with that in mind, I would prefer to be closer to about 25% at least, clearly the bottom half of the league, but technically, we are in the bottom half of the league at 17th, 29%. It's something that I feel like needs to go down a little bit next year, but it's a big kick in the right direction, down 6% from 2019, and it's made us go all the way down from one of the most run-happy teams in the league to one of the more pass-happy teams in the league in this situation. So I can appreciate the push in the right direction. All right, now we get down to the part of this report card that is not so great, and it's the third downs. On third down, we basically stayed stagnant when it came to our play calling. We ran the ball about 26% of the time, which was 11th in the league. Now, the interesting oddity here is that we were about the same the last 2 years, and both years we were 6th in the league. So running the ball on third down was just a little more common this year, I guess, which is interesting. It's notable. I don't know exactly why that might have been the case, but teams in general this year just ran the ball more on their third downs. And I don't have a huge problem with a 26% run percentage on third down. I will say our third down performance this year was not particularly great, although it got a little better as the season went on. So I would definitely look at something like this and wonder if this is part of the problem. Are we running the ball a little too much on third down? Do we need to displace some of these third down runs to first down? Is the problem that we're ending up in too many third and mediums instead of third and shorts? I don't know exactly what it is, but we're not a great third down team, and this is one of the few areas on this offense where we haven't become more pass happy. So I feel like there might be something there to look at. Finally, third down and long, 12 yards to go or more. This is the one area where, as far as situational play calling goes, we backslid all the way to 42%. This was by far first in the NFL, and we averaged more than 2 third and longs per game, and we averaged almost 1 third and long run play per game. And we all know that a third down and long run almost always results in a punt, which of course results in you losing possession. So yeah, you may say it's not a big deal, it's not even 1 per game, but that's 1 given up possession per game. And I can understand if it's 3rd and 40 or 3rd and 35, okay, give up, just run the ball, you're not going to get it. But if it's 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 19, what are you doing giving up? I don't understand it, but this is the one area where we never really seem to catch on, hey, maybe we should let our $35 million quarterback go out there and try to earn his money on these third and longs. Regardless, the good far outweighs the bad when you look at the situational play calling for the Seahawks. We moved much closer to a team that actually embraces their extremely expensive and extremely capable quarterback rather than a team that hides it. Again, you can definitely point to some games where the offense didn't play well. The first Rams game, the Giants game. maybe you could say the Eagles game, the Washington game, the second 49ers game. There were games where the offense made us mad. Just a couple days ago, they had 6 points through the first 50 minutes against the 49ers backups. So there's definitely some stuff that is not going right here, but I can safely say it doesn't have anything to do with our situational play calling. Are the players executing? Not always. Is the specific play calling good? Sometimes no. But in this area, we're finally catching on, and we were rewarded with a season that featured the most points in franchise history. So I feel like that the team excelled in this area almost in every significant category, and I look forward to see what they can do next year, maybe with a new offensive coordinator, but hopefully with this same general philosophy in mind. So I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, Go Hawks. Keep an eye out for streams later. And this is going to be the final Let Russ Cook video of the year. And I can honestly say that even though it was a little bumpy at times, it wasn't perfect. The team could have had a historically good offense, and instead they settled for a very good offense. But the team gave Russell Wilson every opportunity to cook in 2020, and that's really all I can ask for. All right, see y'all later.